when I was 15, I was like a shy kid that would go to high school. I had a good amount of friends. I was very talkative in small circles, but I wouldn't really be open to doing things like this, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't really be, getting myself out there. So
Yeah.
I didn't know of or have the skills that I have today when I was 15, like the sales, communication, marketing skills.
That's awesome, man. I'm so always fascinated by the mindset of people who are doing. I'm fascinated by everybody's mindset, but I'm always fascinated by mindsets of people who are doing, really cool things too. So I love that background. What was it, or who was it that was, you said you didn't really want to work for anybody else. Like, where did that come from? Because I take for granted, because we run in circles of a lot of entrepreneurs. And I don't think everybody needs to be an entrepreneur, but I love the freedom that is, potentially associated with that. And I take for granted, because I've always just kind of thought that way. The majority of people don't. Like, who was it? Somebody you saw that gave you the bug of like, ooh, I want to do this for myself? Or like, where did that come from for you?
That's a really good question. I never really thought about who gave me that idea. I think just I guess when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I was just observant of it. And I wasn't observant enough if I think about it. But what I did observe was that, like, I just couldn't see how, like, I'd be that kind of person that would wake up in the morning, go work at an office with a salary that I had no control of, and everything was going to be the same every day, and there was not going to be any, opportunity for me to make like millions of dollars or tons of
Mhm.
money to be able to afford the things I want to do because, I was very mathematical as a kid. That was the best subject I was at, was math. So I could calculate in my head, like, well, if I want to, buy like a convertible, I need to be making this much money. If I want to live in a mansion, I need to be making this much money. It's like, how am I going to achieve that goal by, just going through these motions of working
Yeah.
for someone else? But that's kind of where my observations stopped. I didn't think with like, what does this guy do and how does he make money?
Right.
Like, what is the actual like client acquisition system? I'm trying to use like very simple words, but
Sure.
how does he get his customers? Like, what does he say to get his customers? I wasn't thinking that way, which looking back, like, there's a couple of people I could think of where I was like, man, that guy makes so much money. But that's that's where my thinking stopped when I was a kid. I didn't think of saying like, wow, this guy makes a lot of money. Let me learn a little bit more about his business. I didn't know the right questions to ask, and
Mhm.
I think the best way to for someone to start learning from someone who's successful is maybe just simply asking, how do you get your customers? And like, how much money can you make per customer? Small things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, client acquisition costs and
Yeah.
long-term value and all those like that. Yeah, man, that's a we talk about the fact that curiosity is this superpower, and part of that is being willing to ask questions. And then the more you do that, you understand the questions that you should be asking to, right? Asking the right questions is going to be so much more valuable than assuming you've got the right answers.